Welcome back to episode 3 of Between the Reps. I'm your host, Granger, and I'm excited to bring another episode to each and every single one of you. How's our weekend been? What have we been up to? I am recording this now on Sunday. We had a busy week. We had the Cap City Half Marathon yesterday, so I want to dive into that a little bit and really just get into the nuts and bolts of Fitness 101 and how to build sustainable habits that are really going to help you in the long run, and also kind of give you a look at my daily routine and some of the things that work well for me. As we go into this episode and we look back on episode 2, some key takeaways I would say for that would be really understanding that change is a process and it requires time and patience and an understanding about yourself. And then 2 is you really have to understand that the sacrifices that go into becoming the person you want to be really are going to take time. They're going to create hard decisions that you have to make. And you're really going to have to understand that you have to be selfish and you have to be willing to do the things that most people aren't willing to do to make that change. And getting right into it. This weekend, we had the Cap City Half Marathon. I hit my goal, sub 2 hours, but I did not get the pace that I wanted to get. And to me, it definitely is frustrating, but I've learned a lot going into this, and I'm really looking forward to taking this into the next time I run a half or a full, and some of the things that I need to go back to work on. And a lot of that has to do with my hydration. I fell apart like the last 2 miles. I was on goal to have the pace that I wanted, which was anywhere from an 8 minutes to 8:20. I had finished at like 8:40 pace for the completion of the half. And it's good for my first half, and I'll take it. I'm okay with that. My training, I think, was really good, and my prep going into it, nutrition wise, but hydration for some reason, that's something, like I said, I need to go back in the lab and really work on. I'm going to meet with some people that have a little more expertise than I do regarding hydration for races like this. And as I go into High Rocks, and we do have a 100-mile bike ride that we're going to do for Pelotonia, Emily and I signed up for. So really looking forward to that in the beginning of August. And it's going to be something new that we're going to train for. It's going to be cool. I think something that I can look at for this week that went really well is stuff at work. I'm really starting to click with the processes, understanding the space, and I'm just feeling a lot more confident in how I'm approaching situations, how I'm dealing with people, and how I'm really managing and dealing with projects. So that's something that I was really happy with. And we had a big challenge with our daughter this week, our oldest. She is getting a little personality, and it feels like she is 8 or 10 years old with how she's been acting lately. We are very similar. She is me to a T. Anything that she does gets a little attitude, and I just kind of take a step back and I see myself in her, and she drives me crazy some nights. Tuesday, I believe, she took off her sleep sack, her onesie, and her diaper, basically threw her diaper. It took me everything I could to not lose my mind on this girl. But you have to remember, she's almost 2 years old. She's still learning. She's still trying to figure things out. And I did have to laugh about it once I went up to her room and kind of raised my voice with her. And I was like, Sage, come on now. We got to stop doing that, because she's been big on taking her sleep sack off lately. I don't know what the deal is. And just this little stage of life that she's in that we all kind of go through and we grow through, that I'm sure I drove my parents insane with when I was a kid. Mentally, I think I was pretty nervous for the half, and I don't know why. My training was really good. I was kind of psyching myself out going into it and just trying to see how I was going to do. I didn't really know what to expect in the course and the weather. It kept going back and forth all week that it was going to rain. It ended up being a really nice day, but it was super humid. And I think that had a bit to play in the race with my hydration because right now it's Ohio, so it's been typically cold when we've been training, but it was a beautiful day, but it was pretty humid out. So I'm not sure what it was. I haven't really been that nervous since a football game in college, which kind of brought back a lot of fun, exciting memories. You kind of get those pregame jitters, and it was fun. It was fun to do it with my fiance, and kind of what I wanted to hit on for a little bit with her is just I'm so incredibly proud of her and her performance. She is 4 months postpartum, and she ran a 7:54 pace and finished in about an hour and 45 minutes. I'm so incredibly proud of her and just the work that she put in to this race and the consistency and showing up every single day to get better. That's that's what it's about. That's what fitness and that's what going through the journey is. And that's a prime example of there are no excuses. She's a full-time mom. She works a full-time job and still makes time for herself to train and to do the things necessary to make sure that she's the healthiest version of herself. And I don't mean this in a negative way to anybody listening to this, but there really are no excuses that you can have when it comes to your physical well-being. How are you going to be the best version of yourself for your kids if you're constantly allowing life and allowing things to come up and move you off of your goals and your intentions? You have to be selfish in a sense to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself. And that's not just physically, that's your mental health, your spiritual health, and your emotional health. She is a great example of what we're going to talk about today in building the process in fitness. And it's not flashy. It's not always going to be a highlight reel. And what you see on social media isn't always what you get. There's things that you're going to do each day that are extremely tedious and extremely boring. It's not always fun. And you can have fun workouts, but there's not a day that goes by where I wake up in the morning or Emily wakes up in the morning that we absolutely want to go work out. It's what we said we're going to do. It's the example we're setting for our kids. And to me, that's something that I think every parent, every individual should wake up and do is go take some time for yourself, whether that's going on a walk, it's going on a jog, going on a bike ride, hopping on the treadmill, whatever it may be, getting that fundamental movement in early in the morning to prioritize yourself, to get your day jump started. That's so important. Transitioning into today and the thought of the week and the quote of the week is, what is significance? Significance is, can I wake up every day and get out of myself and get in everybody else? And what that means is it's not always about us. If we're constantly waking up and thinking about ourselves and what we need to do and how our lives are going to be affected constantly by what is going on around us, we lose sight of everything else going on in the world. We're so wrapped up in our lives that we forget to be present with other people. And that could be just strangers, that could be your coworkers, that could be your friends, whoever it may be. I think we just need to be more present with those people. We need to step out of our comfort zones and try to be present in certain situations, whether that's at work or if you're just walking down the street and you're stopped and a random stranger is stopped there with you, say hi to them, ask them how their day is. Really try to relate and get to know other people. We can learn a lot about ourselves and also really learn a lot about other people and their stories and really take the time to get to know each other. And what we can do to continuously grow in that is slowing down and let's speak a little less. That's one thing I'm trying to do as I get older, and I'm trying to be more patient and be more present is I'm not saying much. I'm really just listening, whether that's to some of my coworkers or if that's to a person that I see on the street. Or example, today I went on a bike ride this afternoon and I was stopped at a crosswalk and there was a group of other bikers and I just struck up a conversation with them. We had to be there. I had about 20 extra seconds. They didn't have headphones in. So I just asked them how their day was. I asked them where they were heading, how often they ride this trail, and if there were some other good spots for some long rides as I go in to prep for this 100-miler. And they gave me a lot of good information. They showed me some of the trails that connected and where I needed to go at the end of this trail to hop on the Scioto Trail so I could go another 10, 15 miles. And that was a lot of good information. If I wouldn't have took that time, it probably would have taken me 40 minutes to try and figure that out, which that saved me a lot of time. And they gave me some pointers and kind of told me what roads to not go on and how to go around those roads so I could get to the other paths, which saved me a lot of trouble and headache. And it was an older couple and it was just kind of nice to chat with them. We actually stood there for about 5 minutes and had a conversation. So it was nice. It was nice to hear from somebody else and not be all about myself and worried about my ride. I could have just kept my headphones in and acted like they weren't there, but just being intentional on what my plan was and really just listening to what they had to say gave me a lot of information that I probably wouldn't have had. And that's just a simple example of something that really took me an extra 5 minutes of my day. So I think that's something we all need to do a better job at and really try to be focused on others and so focused on ourselves at all times of the day. Our conversation today is super important to me. I've fell in love with fitness and the journey of building out a sustainable life with routines and habits. And it's kind of becoming an obsession of mine, weirdly, because I feel like before I lived in chaos and drama, and now just having routine and structure every single day. I was talking to Emily yesterday when we were down in the short north for the race. We went to brunch after and I was like, I really don't miss living down here. And I was holding our youngest daughter while Emily was napping yesterday out on the porch, and it's so quiet in the suburbs. And I really have found a place that I enjoy being in, can raise our family and have an area where we just feel safe and feel at home with who we are and the people that we're surrounded with. And nothing against downtown Columbus. I still like going down there to spend time with some friends and to eat because there's a lot of good restaurants. But really just once you leave a place and you go back every now and then, you're just excited to kind of get back to home. And the older I get, I really enjoy being at home. I enjoy being with my family and enjoy the memories that we make in our place together. And to me, that's something that you can't take for granted. It's bigger than just the quick dopamine hits. So moving into our topic today, what is fitness one-on-one? I'm going to keep it real simple and short today, just to get you started and what's worked for me. But first, I really want to go into the routine that I have. Mondays through Fridays, every week, it looks the same. I'm typically waking up anywhere from 2:50 to 3:30 on most days. I know the past couple weeks I've slept in a little longer just because our workouts have been a little different. So we have a little more time in the morning. So typically 2:50 to 3:30, I get up, come downstairs, do my creatine and some sort of electrolyte or carbs. So it's either G1M Sport, electrolyte, and a creatine. Once I do that, I'm able to shake that up in my shaker, walk over to the gym. That is the best part about where we live now. Our gym is literally a block down the street. So we walk over to the gym every morning, which is super nice. And we also have a treadmill in our basement and a few other things that we can use while the other person's at the gym. So I can get a run in while Emily goes and lifts or vice versa. So Mondays, typically hitting a lift, and I'll come back and I will either do a run or I'll do some sort of mobility. Typically it's Monday, so I'll do a run and then I will get ready, get the girls ready. Emily will go lift and she'll come back and then I will head out to work. So typically most days I'm leaving for work by 6:15 to 6:30, and then I am at work all day, come home, hang out with the girls. I really like to be with the girls at night and just be intentional with my time. So try not to be on my phone. And I'm really good at separating work from home. Once I leave work, I'm not worrying about work. I have been there before where I've worried about work. I've been stressed out about work, but at the end of the day, it's never that serious. It's always going to be there tomorrow. So why bring something home to my family that I'm going to have to deal with no matter what when I go into work the next day? I might as well deal with it then. And I feel like I'm really good at, I have 8 hours in a day to get the job done. That's what I'm working on. I'm at work, I'm focused on that. And I really try to be intentional on not bringing stuff home because the girls, that's their time. That's my time to be with them. That's my time to enjoy things that they like to do, whether it's putting puzzles with Sage, bouncing linen in her rocker, or really just being intentional with my time with my fiance and us being able to have conversations and talk and really work on some things that we like to do outside of our 9 to 5, whether that's this podcast or hearing about Emily's stuff that she has going on with her run club and her Temple Collective stuff, which I can get into more when we have her on. But really just being there and being with them and being a family, eating dinner together every single night and starting those traditions, even though the girls are young and they're not really eating what we're eating, we're still eating as a family. And we try to do that as much as possible at the dinner table. I know some nights it's a little weird based on what we have going on, but we're still always eating together as a family, whether if that's in the living room and Sage is at her little table and we're eating our food and Lennon has her bottle. We're really trying to be intentional with how we're spending our time. And that goes for Monday through Friday. I'm typically doing that. Wake up pretty early, gym. Emily goes to the gym, come home, get the girls ready, go to work, come home, be intentional with our time. We'll typically go on a walk after work if it's nice out, especially with the weather getting better. We like to get outside. We don't watch a lot of TV. I know people ask me all the time, have I seen this show? Have I watched this? We really don't watch TV. I can't remember the last series Emily and I have watched all the way through. I can't tell you the last movie we watched. It's really nice to come home and just be with them and not be on our phones, not be stuck on the TV. We're really big about not allowing the girls to watch a lot of TV. On the weekends, I think Sage gets the most time with the TV, and it's really just watching movies. And that's been a lot of Frozen, a lot of Moana. I know my mom was watching the girls yesterday, and I think she watched Frozen 1 and 2 probably 4 times each while we were at brunch in the race. So appreciate her. Shout out to mom for watching the girls. Really excited to just develop these routines a little more. We're pretty efficient with that. Dinner, bedtime, bath. It's pretty boring life, I would say, if you're on the outside looking in. We're not doing that much exciting things. We're not doing anything crazy. I mean, we'll typically go out to eat maybe once every other week. Emily and I try to do a date night once or twice, maybe 3 times a month, which we are lucky that we do have the help to come and watch the girls, even if it's us just going to get a workout in together or having the ability to just spend that quality time together as a couple is really nice. And we take advantage of Monday through Friday, really winding down with sauna, cold plunge, and just spend the time together for the last half an hour, hour of the day, which is really nice. And we try to be in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock most nights. And that's my typical routine. It's work out, go to work, come home, eat, spend time with the girls, spend time with Emily, go to bed. And that was my routine as I was going through the process. I just added some things. I added people, and it hasn't really changed. It's really been the same thing. And we like it that way. We like it simple. We like it clean, organized, and structured so we can get the things done that we want to get done. And that's how it has to be. You have to sacrifice, yeah, maybe watching TV or maybe being on your phone or maybe going and spending time with guys after work. Would I love to go golf and would I love to go do things sometimes? Like my coworkers will invite me. Yeah, I would, but I know what's important to me at the end of the day. And that's making sure that I'm getting my workouts in. I'm spending time with my girls. And right now, that's my priority. Will those change as I get older? The girls get into sports. Yeah, they'll probably evolve and our routines will look a little different. But at the end of the day, the foundation that we have, that's what the routine is going to be because that's the intentions that we've put on our lives for this season. Everyone wants to change, but very few people are willing to do the work to actually make that change. That's what I've learned through working with different clients, helping different athletes. I've learned that until someone is willing to actually put in the work and to make the necessary sacrifices to make the change or make the improvements, they're not going to do it. No matter how hard you are on them, no matter how much encouragement you give them, people have to want to change. They have to see the value in changing before they will actually change. I don't care how good of a coach you are. I don't care how good your programming is. Until someone actually physically believes that they can make the change and they're willing to make that change, will change happen. So number one, in fitness 101, the ultimate goal rule that I live by, keep the main thing the main thing. It's that simple. I think people overcomplicate fitness, especially when they're first starting out. You just have to be consistent. You have to define a goal and you have to follow a plan. You can't go into the workout 10 minutes before it, write down what your workout's going to be and think you're going to see results. You have to follow a plan. You have to be able to visualize what you're going to go into the gym and do and have clear expectations for yourself throughout the process. Whether it is building out a program yourself or finding a coach, you have to have a plan. You have to be consistent and you have to have a goal in mind for your fitness. You don't need 15 different supplements. You don't need the perfect programming and you don't need some secret formula. You really just got to do the basics. You have to keep it simple, stupid. Live by that. Nick Bear, one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, and just the man that he is, seeing a lot of things that he implements in his life, I've kind of taken some of those things and implemented those in my family. What he's done with BPN, how he's grown that business from starting it out of his college dorm room to now it's a multi-million-dollar business. It's one of the fastest growing supplements in the endurance space. I love everything that they do. I love what BPN is founded on. I love what they stand for. He says that all the time. Keep it simple, stupid. And it's really that simple. Some people overcomplicate fitness so much. It really doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take fancy exercises. It doesn't take fancy equipment. You could do push-ups, pull-ups, some kettlebell work, and go run outside. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You just have to have a plan. You have to define your goals, and you have to be consistent. That would be my ultimate rule and number one tip to anyone starting in their fitness space is to be consistent, define your goals, and follow a plan. Number two, everything you see on social media is not true. I think a lot of people get stuck here when they're first going into fitness. You're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through TikTok, Facebook, whatever it may be, and you're seeing all these crazy exercises. You're seeing all these influencers do all these crazy things, and you get stuck. You get stuck inside your own head that you're never going to be at that point, or you don't have the money to go to that gym, or you don't have the access to that equipment. It doesn't matter. Don't think about all that stuff going on social media and in the background. That's just noise. That's a distraction to what reality is. That's what I would say is the downside of social media is the highlight reels versus what is actually happening in reality. You don't have to be what you see there. You genuinely have to do the best that you can do in the situation and in the stage of life that you're at. That is your only obligation. Influencers do not show you the boring consistency. I went to the gym consistently for a year and a half, and I felt like I saw no results, but there were results. Gradually, you have to stack days. You have to do the work necessary to complete your goals. That's why you have to define your goals. Most of fitness is boring. It's not flashy. Yeah, can you program fun workouts? Yes, you can. But the bare bones working out daily is not flashy. I could go through my phone right now and show you my past probably 10 workouts, and there's nothing special about them. There's no flashy workouts in there. There is consistency, there is structure, and there is a foundation of exercises that I've just expanded and branched off on. But at the end of the day, they're really just basic exercises. And as I've grown and I've developed in fitness, I've added things to them. For example, single leg RDLs. I've grown from just doing normal dumbbell RDLs or barbell RDLs. Now I'm working on single-legged stability with going to a single-legged RDL, and I'm just growing my base. There's really all fitness. There's a base of fitness, and you just expand off of that. You branch out as you continue to develop, and you stack that foundation. You start building it up, and you get a little better, and you can add this in here. And then your trainer or your coach, he can give you this. But without having that foundation, there's no point in you doing those crazy exercises or some of the flashy, cool workouts that you see. Yes, there's a time and place for those, especially if you're an athlete. When you start to get into some of the explosion stuff, there's a lot of good things that you can do. But if you don't have a solid foundation, then there's no point in doing that. You're just going to get hurt, and you're going to set yourself back even more. So stay with the basics and build the foundation. Number 3, if you're truly stuck, ask for help. If you can't define that goal, and if you can't build that plan, really ask for help. That's why coaches and trainers are out there. That's what they specialized in. That's what they do the research for. There's a difference between being lazy and being stuck. If you've tried and nothing is working, get guidance. Coaching saves time energy, and frustration. You don't have to figure everything out alone. And sometimes it can be intimidating. I get that. Asking for help, especially as a male, there's that stigma that you should be able to come up with your own workouts. You don't need help. Trust me, I have a lot of friends that are coaches that are a lot more knowledgeable than me, that I ask questions all the time because it's only going to make me better. And seeing what they do with their clients and seeing how they interact with them and some of the stuff that they have, maybe I've not thought about in a certain way. So it's okay to ask for help. I ask for help. I ask for guidance in how I'm structuring out my programming. I ask for tips or tricks or some different variations of certain workouts because it's only going to make me better. It's only going to enhance my knowledge in this space. I don't know everything, just like you don't know everything. It is okay to ask for help. And I think the biggest thing with that is interview your trainers. If you're wanting a coach, go talk to like 10 different trainers. Find someone that you're comfortable with. Don't go to the first person you see. Ask them questions. Just like they're going to ask you questions when you're starting, you need to ask them questions. Are they going to be a good fit for you? Do they follow the same morals and the same idea of what you want out of yourself in fitness? If they're going to try to push you to something that you're not comfortable with or that you don't want to do, then it's your right to not go with it. Interview them just as much as they're going to interview you, because I promise you, a coach that is actually willing to listen to you and that wants your best interest is probably the coach you need to be with. Not someone that has 100,000 followers on Instagram is only going to follow a model that they feel comfortable with following because that suits them and it suits their platform. Doesn't mean that that's who you have to go with. Find someone that's willing to work with you and that fits your goals in fitness. I think that would be the biggest thing that I would say with finding help. And number 4, follow a structured plan. Random workouts equal random results. There's no need to continue to go into the gym 10 minutes before you're supposed to go work out and writing down on your notes your workout for the day, or hopping on Instagram and grabbing the first random workout that you see. That's not going to work. I promise you're not going to build sustainable results that achieve the goals that you have in fitness. Having a plan for training, have a general structure for your nutrition, and track the data. Especially when you're first starting, being able to see where you are and have measurables is going to be so important for building that foundation. And make sure you're using progressive overloading. I can't stress that enough. Like, even as a runner, strength training and progressive overload training is so important as you continue to progress in your fitness journey and the person that you're looking to become in the fitness space. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. You're going to go a long time with seeing no results, and you're going to hit a time where you see some results and then you don't see some results, because the body is so interesting. We as humans are so interesting. The level that we can push ourselves is incredible. And if you're not seeing results right away, then don't give up. Just keep being consistent, keep showing up, and understand that there's a lot of things that go into muscle building or fat loss. It can be nutrition, it can be sleep. There's a lot of different topics and a lot of different things that go into the human makeup that affect us physically. So don't get frustrated right away, because I promise you, there's maybe just some things you need to tweak, whether that's in your diet, that's in your sleep, or maybe you've been trying this programming for a month, 2 months, and it's really not suiting your body well and you're not adapting to it. Then you can make some changes. If you have the right coach, you're going to see that. You're going to be able to have weekly calls with you and monthly structured programming that fits your goals and fits your body and the way that you want to look or the way that you want to feel. That's the biggest thing when following that plan is you can see the measurable data, and the coach is going to be able to help you through that and understand kind of what's going on and how you guys can pivot. And now you can go this direction if this isn't working, or you can go this direction if this isn't working. So really just being able to follow the plan, understand that at the end of the day, it's not just about the random workouts. It's about ultimately following that plan to make sure that you are doing the right thing when you go into the gym. Number 5 is understanding the end goal. This is where people get lost. I think a lot of the time, you got to break it down clearly, whether it's weight loss, fat loss, muscle gain. Those are just some examples. What is your ultimate goal in fitness? Is it to get more athletic? Is it to get stronger? Is it to get faster? Are you looking to improve your running economy? Whatever the goal is, having clear expectations for that goal and being able to define the goal that you have in mind and where you want to be at the end of this process is going to be huge when developing or having that conversation with that coach to put you on the right path to where you need to be. And number 6, set obtainable goals. You can't hit the home run right away. Start small, winnable, measurable goals. You want to work out 3 times a week, 8 to 10,000 steps a day. Interview one coach a week if that's the route you're looking to go. So you're starting into fitness. Maybe you've gone to the gym a few times. You're getting a little bit more confidence. Okay, now I want to hire a coach. Don't jump into it right away. Don't make a rash decision because you feel ready for a coach. Start interviewing coaches. Maybe that's interviewing one coach a week. Set up a call, 30 minutes. Ask him questions. Define those questions. Have some questions written down that you want to ask. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to give you some of those that you can ask your coaches based on some of your needs physically and what you want out of the training and the coaching. Is it something that you want to be in person, or is it something online? Do you feel like you have a little more discipline to just have that structured programming, or do you need to see it in person and have somebody reach out to you and really help you out, and not to be condescending or anything, but like hold your hand through the process? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, some people genuinely need that much attention in regards to a space that they're not super familiar with, and that's okay. I personally would rather be in person than do online coaching. I like to see people do the exercises. I like to really be able to give them live feedback and maybe demonstrate, okay, if you're doing a split squat, this is really where I want your form. And I can't see that when they're doing online. And even if it's a new exercise that maybe they're not super familiar with, or that could be dangerous if it's not done right, I want to see that client do that. And you can only get so much when you're doing online. And I think online's great, especially for someone like me or someone that has a little more experience. I think online coaching is very valuable. Even when it comes to running, I've I've worked with people before, and just being able to have that feedback on some of the things that I've programmed out for my running and be like, hey, what does a taper week look like? What should I decrease here? Can you look at this for me? Having another source of knowledge and someone to bounce my ideas off of has really helped me grow as an athlete and as a trainer. Confidence is built through keeping a promise to yourself, not hitting some extreme goal overnight. You just have to consistently show up every single day. You have to do what you say you're going to do. So if you're going to work out 3 times a week, that's your goal. That is what we've defined our goal is to be. Then you need to work out 3 times a week, whether that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Whatever your structure is, you need to hit those 3 workouts a week. That is what you told yourself you're going to do. That is how you build confidence. Prime example was Emily said, I'm either going to do a high rocks or I'm going to do the half marathon in April. She ended up ultimately deciding to sign up for the half marathon, and her goal was to run 8-minute pace for 13 miles. And she did that. She had programming, she had nutrition, and she had consistency. She showed up every single day, even when she was tired from the kids, even when she was tired from work, even if it meant she had to go after work because I had something in the morning, or if she had to leave early in the morning, or she just was feeling exhausted and she slept in a little longer. She still hit her workout every day. She still showed up for herself every single day. And to see where she was at 4 months ago to me crossing the finish line and seeing her done and seeing how happy she was. I mean, as a coach and as her fiance, just seeing that just gave me so much inspiration and made me feel good because I watched her work through that and I watched her develop a grit and a determination to achieve a goal. And that's incredible. I know it's just a small step in where she ultimately wants to be, but to know that she hit that, how much confidence she has right now, she's on fire. I can't wait to see what she does the rest of this summer and the rest of this year, because I think it's going to be special. And how much fitness that she has built in just this short amount of time. I mean, she's 4 months postpartum. Is incredible. I haven't seen anything like it in my experience. She has done so much work. She has put in so much effort to achieve her goals. And not to brag on her, but I'm going to brag on her because she deserves it. She didn't complain. She didn't make excuses. She showed up. She did the work, even when the work sucked, because I planned the workouts and they sucked. There were sometimes on those Tuesday speed days that I was laying on my back about to throw up. But she did it. Every single week, she showed up and she put in the work. You have to sit down and define your fitness goals. You have to understand the why behind it. Once you understand and have a why behind what you're doing, it's going to make the goal so much easier. So for Emily, I think it was to, you can quote me if I'm wrong, it was for her girls and it was for herself. It was to prove to herself that she could still do the things that she wanted to do after having 2 kids. And she proved it. And if you're going to find a coach, take your time, do the research, and ask questions. Start small and give yourself grace when you're jumping into fitness. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time, especially building muscle. Muscle gain is time, nutrition, rest, and just a lot of detail into what you're doing in the gym and building that muscle and building that engine and building that fitness. That's the best part of anything, is the journey. The journey is what some people, I think, come to love about fitness and about changing their body. The Bible verse today is a good one. It's going to be from Mark chapter 10, verse 45 in the New Testament. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Do not come to be served. The world teaches us, what can I get? But it's not about you. A lot of us wake up thinking, what do I feel today? Do I feel motivated? Do I feel like working out? But if you are constantly living like that, you're stuck in yourself. You're stuck in you and you miss everything going on around you. You don't see the joy that other people can truly bring you if you take some time to get to know them. But to serve, significance, like we talked about earlier, is serving others, not impressing them. Taking care of your body isn't just about aesthetic. Yes, if you do it for long enough and you're consistent, you will see some aesthetic results. You will start to be more confident and feel good about yourself if that's what you're looking for. But I think it's about having energy and discipline and a presence to show up for others and to show up for those that are counting on you. Your habits aren't just for you. They're about the people that count on you. For Emily and I, it's for our girls. It's for us to be the strongest version of ourselves for each other. That we both know that if something went wrong, we would be able to protect our girls. We would be able to protect those that we care about most. For me, especially having 3 girls, it's me knowing every single day I wake up that I can protect all 3 of them. I know that for a fact. I am so confident in myself that I know I've built a body and a mind that is hardened and disciplined, that I can emotionally and physically protect my 3 girls. When you're consistent and disciplined and taking care of yourself, you show up better as a friend, a parent, a coach, a leader. Whatever your role is, if you are the best version of yourself, you will show up in the best way for those that you love and that are counting on you. To give is life for many. This is the ultimate example of sacrifice. You don't have to give your life, but you do have to give effort, time, and discipline. Waking up early when you don't feel like it, sticking to your plan when it's inconvenient, choosing consistency over comfort. That's what sacrifice in a world that we live in today looks like. We can't be comfortable. We can't be okay with being okay. We have to step out of our comfort zone a little bit. We have to be willing to be in situations that aren't familiar to us. We have to be okay with that. And sometimes I think I enjoy being uncomfortable. I enjoy going through that process and finding out who I truly am. Am I willing to go the extra mile? Am I willing to continuously wake up and show up for those that are counting on me? Am I willing to go all in on something? Knowing that you have a willpower and you have a sharpened and hardened mind will only create an easier life in the long run. In the moment, it may not seem easy, and it's probably going to be hard. The journey is hard. The process is hard. But what you're building and what you get from that result is going to be a good life. It's going to be an easier life that you can create for others. Bearing that weight, carrying that pressure, allowing yourself to grow and being uncomfortable will do so much for you. We've talked a lot about significance. It's found in serving. And sometimes serving looks a lot different than helping someone out. Sometimes it looks like getting your habits in order. It looks like growing as an individual, getting disciplined, taking care of your body and your mind so that you can show up, so that you can be the example that you need to be for those that are counting on you. If you're constantly tired, inconsistent, and stuck in your old habits, it's really hard to pour into anyone else. It's really hard to give others the attention and the love that they deserve if you're constantly inconsistent. I've been that person that's been inconsistent. I've neglected my responsibilities. I've been unreliable. You don't want to do that, especially being in a situation that I am now with 2 little girls. I couldn't imagine not showing up for them and being able to give them what they need and be the man that they need and to see. As we close today, let's just take a few moments to understand that fitness is so much more than getting bigger muscles, losing weight. It's about building a sustainable life, sustainable routines, habits, and about becoming a better you. Let's continue to grow in that, and let's continue to show up for ourselves and those that are counting on us. If this episode has helped you in any way, I hope that you guys take the time to leave a review, like, and subscribe to Between the Reps, as it will just help grow and spread this message that we can come together and we can grow something special, and we can be reliable for the people that we need to be reliable for. I hope you guys have a great day and a great week. This is Between the Reps. I'm Granger. I'll see you guys next week.